my name is Megan O'Russell.
And my name is Christopher Russell, and welcome back to Page by Page, writing the book in real time. Sorry. This is episode 30.
He is already having a giggle fit.
Oh, I am not having a fit. Okay. For my podcasters out there, you will understand. I think I've talked about this before.
I
you
said
have
a
to
giggle fit.
Oh, a giggle fit.
You're like,
I thought you said a big ol' fit. So I was like, no, I am not.
No, you're having a giggle fit.
Okay. So you have to, in order to pull, like, to make this the best quality podcast possible, the audio, you have to capture a print of the noise floor, basically. So what is the noise without you talking? And then you remove that. That is the very first thing that I do when I am editing the podcast. So I have to have that be as clean as possible. Otherwise, if there's like rumbling in the distance, if there are really high-pitched noises, then what it can do is gate those frequencies in our voice, and it makes it just sound really wonky. So
is it kind of like, okay, let's picture it this way.
Okay, all right.
Sound is a rolled out cookie dough.
Where is this going?
And we are gingerbread men. But you need to know what dough isn't us. So you take a picture of the dough without the gingerbread men. So you know where our two gingerbread cookies belong.
I don't think that's anything like what this is, but sure, if that visualization helps you, good job.
I didn't take acoustics. All right, now that
I took acoustics and I was horrible at it. I'm pretty sure that I made like a high C or a low B. It was a horrendous class. It was a horrendous class in college. Nobody did well in that class. Okay, Steph Joe might have.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
To your C.
So,
all right, so tell the people about the beer.
Yes, the beer with which we just cheersed. Yes, I said it that way.
Oh, that's really good.
It is really good. Yeah.
It doesn't coat my teeth like a scratch and sniff.
Yeah. It's actually a stout that I enjoy. So that's right. You heard it here, folks. There's a stout that I enjoy. Not typical. I'm more of an IPA guy. Actually, I'm more of a Belgian guy, but IPAs are my go-to over stouts. It's a Dragon's Milk, which if you've been with us since episode 1, you will know that we've had a Dragon's Milk beer before, but it was a bourbon barrel aged ale. I think it was like a red ale, but this is a bourbon barrel aged stout. So it is not to be taken lightly. It isn't an 11%er. So just, drink carefully and responsibly. That's all. But it's very good.
It is
delightful.
Really good.
Okay. So, we've talked about beer. We've talked about acoustics and gingerbread men for some reason.
Well, no, because you want to get the imprint of the dough without us so that when you lift away the dough, it'll be just us left.
Oh, so we're not removing our gingerbread cutouts, but rather the dough surrounding the gingerbread cutouts.
But we're figuring out where it is so we can peel it all up and just have the gingerbread man.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, but yeah, sort of. I sure.
Nope.
Yeah.
And then we just leave a little Megan voice and a little Chris voice.
Right, and then
go, wee, all the way home, which is not the gingerbread man, but I've watched Shrek too many times.
No, but you said that, and now I'm sad because I just remembered that little piggy, he does not want to go to market.
He does not want to go to market.
He does not want to go to market. Speaking of going to market, I don't have any idea. Why don't you give us a, what?
You made me choke.
You don't like my nonsensical segues?
Okay, so speaking of what the...
Nothing. It doesn't matter. Why don't you give us a catch up on what happened last week?
Well, did we want to talk about my cheating now or later?
Oh. Should we talk about your cheating? You know what? You talk first, give us a recap so that I can pull up the text message with which admission of said cheating occurred. My gosh, y'all. I can't because yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay, so previously on Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer, the time has finally come to bury Corpse Carver. While walking to the funeral, and because walking 300 plus students to a funeral is a great idea. Ella and Jason finally have a chance to talk. He wants to apologize for what happened at the bonfire, for worrying about her and having a bit of a panic attack in the woods. So he tells her more about when he was attacked in the woods and how he got that scar on his back. They have a conversation and they get to a little bit more of an understanding about the situation, and Ella realizes that there is a good chance that the wound Jason has could match a wound on Clara's body. So now she is on the edge of pulling Jason deeper into the Clara mess. Did I go into anything that I wasn't supposed to in too much detail?
I'm not sure. I was looking for that text message, so I really do not know.
Okay.
I do not know.
I'm going to trust my instincts.
Okay, I think that's good.
Because, no. Let me clarify this with you.
It's time to trust my instincts.
That the wound on Jason's back can/does mirror a wound on Clara's back.
Yes.
To the best of Ella's knowledge, there is a connection.
There is a connection. 100%.
Okay, well, because I forget sometimes, like,
No.
Did I lay it all out there yet? I have to go back and reference, and I didn't reference that part. Okay, so for the infamous text message that Megan sent me while I was at Titanic, if that's on your bingo card, yes, I did mention Titanic today. So I get this text message while I'm on break. And there are other people up in the break room. And I said, oh my God. They're like, what? I said, my wife just sent me a text message that said I'm cheating. And they went, and I went, no. So she says, I'm cheating and I'm not sorry about it. I'm having a beer and starting on the next chapter. The material in my head is too good and I don't want to lose it. And then she follows us up, by the way, with, so there's puke on the curtain in Cat Tower. I can't get the curtains down on my own, right? So that was hilarious. But yeah, so it is time for you to confess your book sins, Ooh, how
Megan
topical
Elizabeth.
for this chapter.
Oh, yeah, that is.
What had happened was...
this is your moral compass-o-meter.
Yeah. So I was finishing writing this chapter, but it's one of those chapters that bridges very naturally into the next part. There's not a stop in action before the next chapter picks up. And I was having a really good writing day, and I didn't have a migraine or anything. And I knew how I wanted the next bit to go. And I had an idea in my head for a funny line. And so I went and got myself a beer and started on the next chapter. But I did stop writing as soon as I had gotten out of that bridge portion. So I didn't finish the whole next chapter. Wait, so that'll be chapter 30?
That'll be chapter 30.
I wrote about 1,100 words in chapter 30 already before we did this podcast. But it was continuing
That's
the scene.
a quarter of the chapter, Megan Elizabeth-ish. No, all right. So I now present to you evidence 0394 in the case against Megan O'Russell from the readers. Not only does she do this, and yes, I'm calling you out right now. I'm calling you out. So not only does she do this, but she then proceeds to tell me, oh yeah, I also started book 2, and I went, what?
Well, I had an idea for how I wanted the opening to go.
Okay. Would you like to expound upon that at all?
No, because I'm not completely set on it. But I think because of the format and the way Ella's brain works, I think that doing it that way will be like a quick, maybe 400-word rattle off of everything, and we'll be like ready and rolling.
Sure. Okay.
And I think it really fits her and fits the beginning of book 1. And so that was another thing where I just got excited.
I see.
And I didn't have the willpower to say no.
An Ella-like vision and had to whip out your sketchbook and put it down. Is that what I meant to hear?
No, because I wasn't seeing the future. I was having the ideas in my head.
Yes, but that is the future of the series. So you're seeing a possible future. So yes, that is what you were doing. You ever think about that?
Really absurd.
I know.
That as a writer, I am creating these characters' futures.
Yes.
Have you met Anna?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. Good
so, grief. I mean, yes, I have.
Yes. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. And with that, cheater face, I think that... What? Go ahead. Go ahead. Wait. Should we actually, we should probably, just in case people have joined us later, explain why this was such it's not a big deal, but why I made it such a big deal is because the whole premise of this podcast was that Megan would write a chapter. I would edit it. We would do a read aloud edit of it. And then we would publish it via page by page. And after publishing it on the podcast, she was then allowed to work on the next chapter. It wasn't supposed to be a thing where you jumped ahead.
Because I was never supposed to be ahead of the group, so that we were kind of all in it together. Everyone's up on the story where we should all be together. Like it was, and I love it, and I love doing that because I like getting people's comments and messages and everything about the chapters. But it's literally the same scene.
I get it. So I actually do want to ask you this. I'm glad that I brought us back into this instead of jumping right into the chapter. But is this typical, like when you're nearing the end of a book, like that the ideas just start flowing more quickly? Do you know what I mean? Or is this purely because of the fact that you went on your steroids to bring down the lupus flare that lasted for 6 months? Sorry, Guilds fans, we love you. And don't worry, it's coming. Trust me. But and then also with the new migraine treatments, like is that what it is? I'm curious.
I mean, part of it was that I was really excited because between the steroids and the new migraine injections, like I just felt like really good and my brain was working really well, and I was like, fuck yeah, don't know when I'm gonna get this shit again, get it done. But also I do tend to do this when I get towards the end of books where I just get impatient and I just
could see that.
Yeah. Where it's like sleep becomes less important than writing. I would just like to keep typing until I'm done. But I can't do this one in that. I can't do that in this book. I can't hop ahead like that.
No, you can't. That's true.
But it's so tempting.
I'm sure. Well, I appreciate you
to just give up on the format and go, never mind.
Yeah, well.
But I know I'm not allowed to do that.
No, you are not.
Because I have stuck to the system for too fucking long to mess it up now.
Yes, you have. I'm very proud of you for saying that. Okay. So I think that we can go ahead and get into the reading. What do you think? Is there anything else you wanted to say for yourself?
I'm sorry, guys. I got really excited. And I ate the whole carton of ice cream. Okay, continue. We haven't even started yet.
That was me last night. I got that. They had that buy one, get one Talenti with the salted caramel fudge. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. All right. Enough of that. I present to you, although now I'm thinking about Talenti gelato. Sketchbook. What?
Say it nice.
Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer by Megan O. Russell. Chapter 29. I stopped doing the math on how many seats they'd set out for Carver's funeral once I realized I'd easily clear 800. And this wasn't even his real funeral. Carver had already had a private service for family and friends. The event in the park was more like a funeral after-party that opened with a 15-minute set from a barbershop quartet in jackets with black and gray stripes to match their black boater hats with gray ribbons. After that, the mayor spoke, then a sergeant from Carver's time serving in the Gulf War, then Principal Harrison. My ability to focus on the speakers shriveled after Harrison called Carver a Laureldale legend for his years as a public school teacher, so I don't know how many speakers came after him. It wasn't that Carver's having spent 30-plus years teaching math to the hormonal masses didn't earn him legend status, but the legends, the heroes I'd lost, never had big funerals. Half the time, there wasn't even a body to prepare. Die taking out a vampire who's been on a 7-state binge? Get a picture on the bar while the few people who are allowed to know how many lives you saved drink to your name. I learned I like whiskey that day. Die stopping a witch who's enchanted an entire fucking fraternity? Get your corpse filed as unclaimed like you never fucking mattered, so the best your friends can do is take shots and draw straws for first dibs on vengeance. My dad won. He was back in less than a day. Die in battle fighting 6-1, taking every last one of those fuckers out with you? I don't know what kind of bullshit remembrance they pulled together for my family. I'd already been taken away. But I do know Etherean heroes don't get their picture projected on a giant screen or a local camera crew filming clips for the evening news. It's always been that way, and it'll always be that way. I understand that. But sitting in the packed park, surrounded by sniffling humans, the fucking unfairness of it all poured molten sour into my stomach. The dumb fucks didn't even understand. Getting smashed by a tree is a peaceful fucking way to go. Carver was old enough to retire. He got so much more time to live than too many good people do. Then we all had to stand for a bagpiper to play the Laureldale High fight song, and the sour pushed up into my throat. I swallowed it down, clinging to calm, but the bagpiper didn't stop playing at the end of the song. He looped back to the beginning for a crowd sing-along, and all the voices crashed against me, and the ground swayed, and I just couldn't fucking do it anymore. Jason and I had filed into seats closer to the center aisle, with 6 people to scramble over that way and more than double that in the other. Less physical contact on the inner path versus more direct route to freedom on the outer path. Choosing less physical contact, I turned to the... I was doing so well. Choosing less physical contact, I turned to the girl beside me. Can I scoot past? I gestured with my hands, since I was pretty sure she couldn't hear me over the second encore of the fight song. The girl kindly squeezed back as much as the narrow row would allow, letting me pass. Keeping my bare hands close to my chest, I scooted down the row, almost making it to the next person before Jason caught my arm. He bent down, getting close to my ear to speak, making the poor girl who'd let me by lean back Matrix style. You okay? Bathroom, I said. I'll be back. He nodded and let go, picking right back up with the fight song in a semi-impressive voice. Sorry, I mouthed to the poor Matrix girl and squeezed my way down the rest of the row, focusing on the open strip of grass in front of me to distract myself from the sour in my throat, which, in itself, served as an excellent distraction from any potential vision fears. In through the nose, out through the mouth. The second to the last guy in the row smelled like jerky and old scrambled eggs. In through the mouth, out through the mouth. I swear the air tasted cleaner as I made it to the aisle and turned to head past the back row. 6 teachers had been stationed behind the students. Whether they'd been assigned there or just wanted fewer students' eyes on them as they mourned their colleague, I couldn't tell. Either way, they all had tears on their cheeks and clapped like they'd just watched someone win Olympic gold when the bagpipe finally fucking stopped. Nurse Thompson seemed to have the best emotional balance of the 6, neither crying so hard as to prevent speech, nor mad enough at the universe to take it out on the first innocent bystander, so I headed her way. Thank you, Billy, the MC spoke into the mic on stage. While Andy Carver was best known for, Nurse Thompson, I gave her a little wave to go with my loud whisper. Oh, whoops. Nurse Thompson. Is that better?
Sure.
Nurse Thompson. Is that
Perfect.
Thank you. I gave her a little wave to go with my loud whisper. Restroom? She pointed to the white clapboard church diagonally across the park from the Argo. There and right back, don't even try to leave the funeral zone. Yes, ma'am. Keeping my chin slightly tucked, because for some weird reason that means you're being discreet, I cut... damn it. Yes, ma'am. Keeping my chin slightly tucked, because for some weird reason that means you're being discreet, I cut across the back of the park. Most powerful creation of the human spirit. I hadn't actually explored the park yet. When Paige had shown me around town, we were on a shopping mission. We hadn't stopped to see the benches along the edges of the park that had been strategically placed for shade, or to admire the flower beds, or to enjoy the fountain hidden behind the platform erected for Carver's funeral. Why they'd put up the platform when the park had both a large gazebo and a bandstand made little sense to me. Was there a no corpse in the gazebo rule? Were bagpipes banned on the bandstand? I'd never know, because I didn't give enough fucks to ask. I just needed to fill my brain with something that wasn't the grating voice of the newest speaker. How long a funeral do humans fucking need? Is it because they're so fragile? Because humans are such fragile fucks who break so fucking easily they die for stupid, pointless reasons, and the only way to make their deaths matter is a bunch of barbershopped, bagpiped bullshit? Is that it? My anger broke a little, easing its grasp around my ribs. Dying while stopping a monster means your death matters. Dying to save innocent people means your death matters. Dying while protecting your kid means your death fucking matters. The absence of a crying crowd doesn't change that. I stopped under the maple tree across from the church, taking a moment to solidify my calm before facing the wiggly-jowled woman sitting on her walker beside the church doors, waggling her finger at Asshat Bobby and, based on the way he was trying to smile as she held onto his arm and patted his shoulder like he'd been a good boy, Asshat Bobby's mom. Asshat Bobby's discomfort sparked enough joy to bring lightness to my step as I crossed the street. I'm more concerned with them getting ideas, Mother Asshat said. You leaning away.
Hey, it's a strong character choice. Go with it, man. Just go with it.
It's strong, and it ain't wrong. I'm more concerned with them getting ideas, Mother Asshat said. Events have committees for a reason. But this... Oh, wait. What did I do for her?
You went so strong with Mother Asshat.
I damn it all.
I did.
Wiggle
Jowl.
But this is a funeral. It's got nothing to do with any committee, Giles said. Start kicking up a fuss about problems that don't exist, and you'll drag them right into being. So I should sit and wait for them all to go behind my back? Mother Asshat said as I stopped beside them. Hi, I said. This is the beginning of a coup, Mother Asshat said. Mom, Bobby whispered. Hey, wait a minute. I've got a question for you. Has he lost his asshat status because she feels sorry for him, or did you forget to put asshat in there?
No, it was just too many asshats in a row. It was Mother Asshat. Like...
It just didn't occur to me until now.
No, it was just a lot of asshat, and it just kind of got old.
I don't know. I like asshat. That's fun.
Do you want to put asshat Bobby in?
No. I don't. I like it, but there's no the curtains.
It's okay. You can type asshat.
Okay, I'm gonna type asshat.
No, he did not lose his asshat status. It was just a lot of asshats in a row.
Okay. Right.
Okay. Let's rewind. So she should sit back.
So I should sit and wait for them all to go behind my back. We have no fun here, Mother Asshat said as I stopped beside them. Hi, I said. This is the beginning of a coup, Mother Asshat said. Mom, Asshat Bobby whispered. A middle-aged woman exited the church, eyes averted, eyebrows raised, steps quick as she passed the drama. We need to call an emergency meeting, Mother Asshat said. Mom, stop, Asshat Bobby spoke through his teeth. Restroom? I gave an apologetic wince to Jowls, and a pout I hope said, Oh, did Mommy have to keep her baby boy on a leash for the big scary funeral? To Asshat Bobby.
Wait, can you do that with the mom's accent?
Oh, yeah, sure, okay.
Just to make me giggle.
You got it. Restroom? I gave an apologetic wince to Jowls, and a pout I hope said, Oh, did Mommy have to keep her baby boy on a leash for the big scary funeral? To Asshat Bobby.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Inside to the left. Jowls waggled her finger toward the bathroom. And don't forget, a good scrub of your hands is a prayer for your neighbor's health. Thanks. I ducked into the church before I could get sucked into a long presentation on elder wisdom. I'm going to make sure we have a meeting tonight, Mother Asshat said. Oh, I'm gonna watch those traitors. I couldn't understand Asshat Bobby's interruption from inside the store-bought flower-scented vestibule. Ahead, 3 doors with square windows all led into the sanctuary. Candelabras meant for real candles hung on the wall, and overhead, a matching chandelier had been converted for electricity. They'd used the kind of bulbs with the flame-like tint and slight flicker to their glow, like a nod to the historic air of the space. The left offered 2 doors with discreet gold-lettered signs, one labeled Ladies' Room and the other Organ Loft. The matching doors on the right of the vestibule had been labeled Men's Room and Private. I headed left. The sound of cheerful chatter in the ladies' room held as much appeal as the bagpipes, so I shifted course, aiming for the Organ Loft door. I twisted the handle, but, of course, it was fucking locked. A wave of laughter rolled out of the bathroom. Fucking cliche-ass fucks. I needed a few minutes of quiet. I needed to not hear any more people memorialize the man I'd helped save only to have him die a worse death a few days later. I needed time to think. I needed time to weigh the worth of my guilt. I beelined for the nearest door to the sanctuary and pushed right on through with the confidence of someone who belonged. The sanctuary was empty. Well, almost empty. Something was happening behind the velvet curtain to the left of the pulpit, but the soft murmurs weren't enough to drive me out. The corner nearest me didn't offer a curtain to hide behind, but the very back pew, tucked out of view of the vestibule windows and beneath the organ loft, provided a decent contemplation niche. I claimed the pew and just sat, trying to find anything interesting in the stained glass windows or the plain vaulted ceiling. Because Dad did restoration work, I'd spent a lot more time in churches than most Ethereans, but his jobs were always in intricately designed spaces with ornate carvings. I couldn't help but feel a snobby sort of judgment toward the airy but uninteresting sanctuary. I liked that feeling, and knowing I was fucking right and that my master woodcarver father's work could never belong in such a forgettable space. The thought of Dad trying to disagree with / scold me for saying that to someone from this congregation, while knowing he absolutely agreed with my assessment and was fighting not to laugh his ass off, brought an expansive kind of warmth to my chest. Dad was never good at laughing while lecturing me. Nope. Dad was never good at not laughing while lecturing me for doing something he knew was funny. Mom could pull it off, but not him. The warmth in my chest balled up like crinkled aluminum foil, its edges nicking my lungs as my mind drifted into imagining what they'd say if I told them my plans. I wanted to convince myself the jagged ball kept twisting around and around because my parents would be angry at me for putting myself in danger, and that part was true, they'd be fucking furious. But I was on the edge of hurting too many people to let myself cling to the delusion that concern for my safety was the part of their reaction that made deep breaths painful. If I asked Mom and Dad if what I was doing was wrong, if fucking with people's lives was wrong, they'd tell me I was doing the right thing. When you hunt monsters, people get hurt. What matters is the final tally. Ooh, I'm going to stop because I actually like that as a quote. You know what I mean? I think that's cool. Like, I think that it kind of gives you a sense of what's to come in this book, right? A sense of what the reader has to encounter and what the main character... What?
That they have to encounter ha.
Sure, that thing. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's how I feel inside when I write.
Yeah, we know.
I know.
Remember, there are quite a few of us who have read El Brea books. We know. We know how you feel.
I know you know.
Yeah, we know.
And all I have to say is ha.
Yeah, those creatures in the ice still freak me out, by the way. In the northern mountains. Those are not okay.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Brittany and I are now crying. Just so
all right,
you know.
continue.
Okay, all right,
Allons-y.
Okay, allons-y, Alonso.
Keep rolling.
Yeah. When you hunt monsters, people get hurt. What matters is the final tally. Is the number of lives saved greater than the number of lives lost? Heroism as a numbers game. I hate this, I whispered. Ella? Caleb said my name just loud enough for me to recognize his voice, which kept me from leaping to my feet ready to bolt, but didn't stop shock from knocking my heart into my throat, which only emphasized the ridiculous amount of relief that oozed down my body at the sight of him standing just inside the sanctuary doors. Relief turned to dread as the wrongness of Caleb speaking to me in a wide-open space with nary a bookcase for cover settled in. I bent low, ducking behind the pew in front of me to tie my boot, speaking only loudly enough for Caleb to hear. Is something wrong? What happened? Nothing. Caleb meandered forward, stopping at the end of my row, facing the dais as he spoke like we were in a spy movie. I followed you over here to make sure you were okay, but you were sitting so quietly, I didn't want to interrupt. The corner of his lips twitched up. With freak, I thought you might be done? Done hiding? Nope, I'm staying right here. His gaze flicked down to me, still bent double, hiding like an asshole. Anything I can do? Does this denomination have confession boxes? Moral compass-o-meters? Why? What's going on? Wanna cuddle on the floor while I explain? I winked, mostly meaning the floor part as a joke, totally willing to follow through if he agreed. A ping of panic reverberated through my sternum as Caleb turned away from me, but he continued the slow rotation, like he was giving the room an extra thorough search before taking a few more steps down the aisle. I sat up, trusting Caleb's judgment of our safety. He stopped just in front of the organ loft and turned back to me. A mischievous sparkle lit his barely present smile. Are you a decent jumper? Compared to... He stepped up onto the pew beside him, using the momentum from that movement to jump up and catch the organ loft railing. I scurried out of my pew as he swung his legs up and out of sight. The frick, Caleb! Jump, and I'll pull you up. I barely caught his words. Doing my own damn check of the place, including a thorough scan of the murmuring curtains, I moved far enough down the aisle to see Caleb leaning over the loft railing, grinning as he reached down to catch my hands. Hop up. He looked so fucking pleased with himself, the mischievous sparkle having grown to a full-on devilish grin. If I could, I would have made him freeze right there, hold for hours so I could study him from every angle. A fae offering glorious temptation, a hero offering escape. He'd be perfect reaching for a maiden's hand or luring the greedy to their cursed fate. The glint in his eyes, the way the light sharpened the angles of his face, the kind of subject that becomes a muse. But the fae with the wicked smile was reaching for me, and I had no will to resist his lure. And yeah, you damn straight that's making it onto the back of the book cover. I've decided. I have spoken. Okay. I'm going to say it one more time. It was so nice. But the fae with the wicked smile was reaching for me, and I had no will to resist his lure. I stepped up onto the pew and jumped for his hands. My jump could have been managed by an athletic human, Caleb catching my wrists and lifting me to the loft railing like I didn't weigh any more than a house cat, less human passing. He set my hips on the railing, but rather than let me swing my legs over myself, he took my waist, lifting me again to set me on my feet in front of him. I didn't mind the damsel treatment. Fuck, if I thought I had any hope of convincing him to sweep me into his arms and carry me into the sunset, and by sunset I mean the fuck away from the web of terrible ideas I kept wrapping around my own damn neck, I would have begged him to save me from myself. But I didn't. So I didn't argue when Caleb led me over to sit on the padded bench hidden in the corner. An overturned apple crate with a cup of pencils, stack of crossword books, and open multi-pack of chocolate granola bars completed the niche. I sat beside Caleb, squeezing together on the narrow bench, our thighs touching, making keeping my hand in his a logical space-saving maneuver. A musky scent with oil undertones drifted from the organ. The intrusive need to press the organ keys twisted a childish kind of want in my chest, almost distracting me from the continuous spiked churning of guilt in my gut. So what do you need a moral compassometer for? Caleb leaned forward enough to look into my eyes. So what made that question worth risking a fae jump on human turf? His devilish smile slipped back into place. I pressed my free hand to my thigh, resisting the temptation to touch his cheek. Haven't you heard? I've always been impressively agile. Dad sent me to parkour camp. His smile turned full-on wicked. I have camp t-shirts. Wear them in gym class all the time. That's... I jabbed at the lie, hunting for weak spots. That's actually brilliant. Did you come up with that or your dad? We were joking about getting rich, betting on me winning one of those huge obstacle courses on TV, and it evolved from there. Are you done dodging the moral compass question? Depends. I raised an eyebrow at him. Is asking why it seems like you knew this bench would be here crossing the line? What line? He frowned at me, genuinely asking, genuinely sweet and fucking innocent and kind like Jason, and why the fuck does the world let good people anywhere near me? I squeezed my eyes shut and leaned my head back against the wall, trying to imagine us deep in the woods at night, surrounded by the scent of trees, far the fuck away from humans and the tangled shit that comes with them. Caleb gave my hand a gentle squeeze. Talk to me. The scent of the organ wouldn't let me trick my mind into a safer place. I opened my eyes. I hadn't noticed the Prayer of a Laureldale Ram poster on the wall opposite us. I mean the line between honest and open, I said. Ask me a question and I'll tell you the truth, as long as it's a truth I want to give. And if it's not, I won't say anything. I shrugged like that could somehow make the reality of it less bitter. If you asked me about any of the hiding places I found, I wouldn't tell you. The same goes for 97% of my life. Not because of some vow or curse or NDA. I just don't want to talk about it. I don't want to flay my own soul like that. And things with us are complicated enough. I don't want to make it worse by asking for Caleb Clark insight gems when I have no intention of balancing the scale by giving anything back. He stared at me, like he was waiting for me to keep talking, or waiting for me to have a breakdown. He'd have been justified either way. What if I don't want anything back? Even worse, I bumped my shoulder against his, the same fucking way I'd done to Jason. That drifts toward boundary blurring. Red crept into Caleb's cheeks. He turned his face away from me, shook his head, then paused for a moment before looking back. What if I'm okay with making complicated worse? Warmth crawled up my neck, and my heart switched places with a hummingbird. I'm here for you as long as you need me, however you need me. He kissed the back of my hand, then pressed it to his chest. I give you my word, Ella. I wanted to say I believe you, but thank you came out instead. And the red in Caleb's cheeks brightened to match the heat now blazing in mine. When you don't need me anymore. Not good, not good, not good, not good. Don't care, don't care, don't care, don't care. I'll still be here, if that's what you want. The hummingbird took over my stomach. My whole body felt too heavy and too light at the same time. Do something sweet? What? The word turned into 2 syllables with Caleb's quasi-fearful laugh. I'm stocking up on new good memories. I want this one to be perfect. He smiled. Not devilish this time. A crooked, spine-melting smile, and the hummingbird disappeared. Oh my God, sorry. I didn't expect that to hit me so hard.
What?
I'm stocking up on new good memories.
Yeah.
Ugh.
She's refreshing.
That did not bring tears to my eyes until this read. Jesus. Yeah. Okay, so, I think that we know by now, if you've been with us for a while, that I am a total sap.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I'm also a very trained actor, right? So, I'm good at getting through this stuff without getting choked up. But, there are times. I would take that as a compliment for how good your writing is.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah. There's a reason you're my favorite author. Stephen King's kind of a close second, though. He's actually replaced Edgar Allan Poe.
You know what? I'm willing to take that.
He's a close second. He's not quite there, but he's a close second. Okay.
You know what? He can overtake me, and I will. I will go with it.
He won't. I'm too in love with your worlds. Okay.
Because you love me.
Well, I do love you, but that's not why.
Oh, that actually makes it sweeter. Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Okay, jump back in.
Okay. Just like they jumped onto the organ loft. Sorry.
Okay, continue.
Okay, going on. I'm stocking up on new good memories. I want this one to be perfect. He smiled. Not devilish this time. A crooked, spine-melting smile, and the hummingbird disappeared, leaving a void behind. No, a void isn't right. Gray-blue curls of anticipation that don't quite have the courage to become need. He reached up, trailing his finger down my cheek, lifting my chin, tipping my face to his. The gray-blue turned into a swirling, sparking twist of red and black as he kissed my forehead, my cheeks, then brushed the faintest trace of a kiss across my lips. Every fucking bit of me melted, and every reason I had for not kissing him faded away. I didn't need Caleb. I wanted Caleb. I wanted to thread my fingers through his hair and claim his lips. Pure desire drove the instinct to wrap our joined hands behind me and free my fingers from his, leaving him in the perfect position to trail a feather-light touch beneath the hem of my sweater, tracing circles on the small of my back, sending ripples of tingles up my spine, shoving the fucked-upness of the world even further away until there was only Caleb and me. I nipped at his bottom lip, daring him to deepen our kiss. One sweep of his tongue made the rest of my body suddenly, brutally aware that it had been left out. My chest should be pressed to Caleb's. My hips, too. I should be feeling the growing pulse promising his wanting matched my own. I started to pull myself onto his lap. The cosmos sent an unwelcome, ass-buzzing reminder courtesy of my fucking phone. Caleb froze. I froze, not quite perched on him, achieving exceptional awkwardness in the long moment it took me to remember who might be texting me and why, and where I was currently supposed to be. My phone buzzed again. He lifted me up and set me on my feet, angling his body slightly away from me as he stood. I bit my lips together, absolutely refusing to allow a giggle to slip out as I checked my messages. From Jason. It seems like the ceremony is almost over. From Paige. Do you want to skip the rest of the day? I've lost the will to stay awake under fluorescent lighting. From Jason. Did you want to come to the Argo? From Jason. The rest will be coming too. From Jason. The rest meaning Paige, Andre, Sydney, and Violet. And Violet, the truce holds. A new text from Jason popped up. If that helps. My fingers started to type, Argo's great. Friends, coffee, food. Easy answer. Only it wasn't. Fuck. I scrunched my eyes shut. What's wrong? Caleb put his hand on my back, like it was a normal, habitual connection, an inadvertent display of trust and familiarity. I leaned into the touch. Is it why you wanted a moral compassometer? He asked. I nodded. He wrapped his arms around me. I nestled onto his shoulder, and he leaned his cheek against the top of my head. It felt so fucking good. Can I help? He asked. No. Yes, I won't let you, and that's the fucking problem. Ella? He leaned away from me enough to look into my eyes. I couldn't make myself drag Jason into this moment. I'm used to doing what has to be done. I stepped out of Caleb's arms, needing to feel my own legs holding me up. But how can you be sure you're not becoming the bad guy? If I have to be the villain, I need to know that's what I'm doing. You could never be a villain. Caleb held out his hand, ready to take mine like a trusting fucking human. You're naive, I'm not. My phone buzzed. I know what I'm capable of, and I know how easy it is to sink into putting visions over real, in-the-now people. I never want to be that kind of Sybil. There it was. I'd shared the kind of fear you try not to speak too often in case the cosmos catches notice and forces you down that path. I'd done it without mentioning Jason's name. What kind of line do you think you're getting close to? Caleb asked. Hurting someone. My phone buzzed again. Physically? Caleb didn't even furrow his brow, like he was completely confident in my answer. No, but lack of bloodshed doesn't mean something isn't wrong. He caught my hand and stepped closer, pressing a kiss to my fingers. No rush of warmth banished the ball of spiked, anxiety-laced self-loathing that had reclaimed its residence in my gut. What kind of wrong is it? Caleb asked. The kind you'll regret, or the kind you can't come back from? Exposing a trauma survivor to more trauma, using a friend to accomplish a goal he knows nothing about, a goal that could blow up his fucking family. But, the fucking but that condemned Jason Archer. If I could tell Jason the truth, just sit him down, lay everything out, and ask him to help me, he'd say yes. I couldn't find any hint of doubt in my mind. Jason would want to help. A lot of regret. I swallowed the knot in my throat. The kind people like us never get to properly apologize for. Caleb's brow did furrow that time, but only with little symmetrical lines of sympathy. If you're worried about not getting to apologize properly, I don't think you're nearing villain territory. The blat of bagpipes filtered into the church, playing something close to How Great Thou Art. We should go. I didn't move. Part of me hoped Caleb would say, fuck school, let's just hide here until church on Sunday. But he led me toward the railing. 2 steps later, he turned back to me. There was a visiting pastor the summer before 9th grade. I dated the daughter for a couple months. He stopped making eye contact. She swiped the keys to the organ loft stairs so we could sneak up here. Red ate his fucking face as I slowly pointed to the bench. I let out a slow breath, shoving down a laugh. Did you bring me to your hookup nook in your ex's dad's church? He winced. Ex's mom's church? I couldn't suppress my laughter enough for a kiss, so I booped his nose instead. You naughty, naughty boy. Hunching low, I crept toward the railing, searching the sanctuary below as more came into view. The movement behind the curtain had gained an urgent air. I'll check it's clear, then catch you, Caleb whispered. I can drop on my own, but wouldn't it be more human for me to catch you? That damn mischievous sparkle danced in his eyes. I've done plenty of spotting at parkour camp. In one movement, he planted his hands on top of the railing, jumped up and over, twisted to dangle on the other side, and dropped to the sanctuary floor. His gaze swept the room, then, fucking grinning, he reached his arms out and nodded. Like the ass that I am, I stepped up to stand on the railing. I raised an eyebrow. He shrugged, and I jumped, not even considering what would happen if he didn't catch me. And thus ends chapter 29.
Huzzah!
Right. So, what are your thoughts? I know that you came into this one very excited.
I came into this one very excited, but right now I'm really mad.
Why?
Because
there's things that you wish we knew that we don't.
The scene keeps going.
Yes, but this chapter is at 4,700 words.
I know, but it keeps going,
yeah, sure.
And I feel very angry in this moment that I have more short story to tell.
Well, baby,
this is why I ban myself from doing this. No, because the thing is, the next 1,200, 1,100 words, whatever, that's already been written that I cheated with.
Still can't believe you cheated.
It's so, like, it is juicy, y'all.
Oh.
It is juicy.
Oh, my.
And I am so mad that we don't get to talk about it.
Do Caleb and Ella pick up where they left off?
I can't tell you, but
it's
so juicy.
Well, I love summer before 9th grade. That's young.
Well, they were just like sneaking up for a canoodle and a little booby touch. Over the bra only. You know what I mean?
I do. I do.
I'm sure it was very scandalous for them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, especially in a church. That's actually something that's kind of interesting. So, and we can cut this. Okay, we can cut this. We don't have to be this open with people. But I do, like, I'm curious now, and I hadn't thought about it before. But what drove you to have action take place in a church? Like, you and I both have a complicated history with religion. Mm-hmm. That's where I'll leave it. There we go. That's a good way to say it, Christopher. Well done. Like, why did you choose a church? Is it because of the confessions, the guilt that she's feeling, that she naturally gravitated there? Because I'll admit, even as somebody who is, religiously complicated, there are times when a cathedral is just very nice, right? It kind of fills you with this light sometimes in a weird way, just like a mountain vista does to me too.
Because it's this creation that is above one man's strength. So if you're like in a cathedral, that took hundreds of people, right? How long to build? And
building it in a very specific purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is beauty, even if you have no religion, there is beauty in that amount of craftsmanship going into something.
Yeah.
But the part of this chapter taking place in the church is twofold.
Okay.
One, there's no way the Argo would let that many people go into their bathroom / the students would never come back out. Who is going to let them use the bathroom?
So you needed a more public-ish place.
Yes. Okay. So they already paid to have Carver's funeral proper at the church.
Right.
So it's believable that would be the bathroom that's open.
Okay.
Because yes, there's probably a park bathroom, but in my head, it's like a one-on-one in some sketchy corner that they try not to talk about because public bathrooms are like the one place in Laureldale that's sketchy. Because I have never been in a nice park bathroom.
Lidditz Park.
There is that women's restroom. There is still some sketchy shit going on in there.
Are you serious?
Yes. So it makes sense to me that
it's like the men's bathroom's great.
It makes sense to me that students would be directed to no, we're not going here.
Okay.
Go to the church. Okay. This is a funeral zone.
Right.
This is where we go pee.
Okay.
But also because there is that kind of quiet, vast space that Ella hasn't really had space to think.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And she
churches and libraries, that's about it.
She hasn't had the space to think. She hasn't had the quiet to think of what choices.
Sorry, let me amend that real quick. Places of worship and libraries. That feels like the most quiet you can be inside.
Yeah. But she hasn't had a chance to think about it, and she really is starting to push that line into, oh shit, I'm being the bad guy. I'm the asshole here. I'm the asshole.
But she's doing it for, this is pretty altruistic, what she's doing. Like, she doesn't.
It's not because she's doing it for her.
No.
But she's dicking over her friend.
Yeah, I know.
And so
I'm so interested to see how she dicks him over.
It's that line of finding a murderer is more important than hurting your friend. But like where...
Like my biggest question with that is obviously how. I think that's probably all of our question. But where my mind goes with it is surely she's not going to use his attraction to her against him as people so often do. Men and women, right? Will use that. Like we just saw an instance of it on The Rookie where I can't think of her name right now. You know what I'm talking about? It was like, oh yeah, he's kind of my work husband.
Yeah.
He would file all of my stuff for me.
Oh, I got through elementary school dodgeball using guys who had a crush on me. I learned to use boys who had a crush on me for my benefit in first
You're a user
grade.
and a cheater. How do you feel?
I feel very proud of myself because I am bad at dodgeball. And if you flirt with the guy who is best at dodgeball and he protects you and becomes a human shield to keep you safe, then you know what? It's fucking worth it because putting kids through dodgeball is traumatic.
Yeah, dude, in middle school, it was no joke. They would pelt you with dodgeball.
You don't understand. I went to school with farm kids.
Me too.
These were kids who like...
You forget that I'm from rural Tennessee. Like, yeah,
they would
same.
like... Whoop.
Oh, yes, I know.
It was awful.
I know.
Okay, back on track.
Okay, back on track. Okay. So, you wanted to talk about the black boater hats with the gray ribbons and the barbershop. I love that. It put me immediately into the mind of what are they called at Halloween time? The Dapper Dans. They're called something else, but go ahead.
Well, it sort of goes with Mother Ass Hat and the
Mother
barbershop.
Ass Hat. She doesn't want anything to do with this.
One of the things that has been hard for me in this project that's easier when I write the whole book and then go back and edit is there are things that are happening in the future that aren't important now.
Right.
One of the easiest, spoiler free, it's not going to be in this book, but it will be in the series. Points of that is the Widow's Run weekend.
Yes. So that's when the fete and the ball and like all of that happens.
It is the fete. It is the run. It is the art show. It's like Laurel Dale.
Is it called the Widow's Run or just the Widow's Run?
It's just called the Widow's Run.
That's funny.
But it's the whole town is taken over by this.
Yeah, sure.
And so making sure that before we get to book 2 and it's suddenly like, and the whole town goes crazy for this thing.
Right.
It's like, okay, almost everybody owns a black jacket. Because we have Widow's Run weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, the local barbershop quartet has morning wear for the Widow's Run weekend. Any big event in the park is suspicious to the planning committee because they don't want anyone taking their power from them. Mm-hmm. Like, because those big town events are so big that it is a point of community power if you're on the board of the Widow's Run.
Yeah.
Like, that is a big deal. So it is a competition to make sure you maintain that power. And so making sure that those little bits of local color are there so that when we get to the event, it's not just like, what the how does everyone in fucking town have a full fucking black outfit for this?
Yeah.
What the hell is this? It's already kind of built into the community that everyone has black, everyone has this, like this is normal.
Yeah.
Billy has bagpipes, and that's just how it's going to be.
And Ass Hat Mom is talking about some committee.
Yep.
Do we know what the committee is exactly?
Well, she works on the park committee. So she does everything that the church does in the park. Right. She's on the committee for that. But it's not an event because it's the church funeral and a funeral. It's not a church event.
Okay.
So that's what Jowls is saying is that's not an event. Jowls. It is a funeral. It has nothing to do with the event committee.
I love how Jowls is. That's how you see people.
You should hear the names that I give real people in my life.
I do not want glimpses into your brain beyond
It's terrifying.
The books.
Okay, continue.
So
that's like the 15th continue.
Probably,
today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody count those, please. So I want this to be like Game Scoop, where like they count the number of times that you say continue. What?
That's hilarious. Someday we're gonna get there. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Die stopping a witch who's enchanted an entire fucking fraternity. I turned to Megan and went, what did she do with them? And she went, whatever she wanted. And I went, okay. So I typed this blindly. So we'll see how it came out. But I wanted to say this to Megan on the podcast without her seeing. So I said, and this is the plot of your adult paranormal romance book, yes? Reverse harem frat.
Okay, I could never write erotica because I would never stop. Like, I would never get things written because I would
Remember
just
that time
be
that we
sitting
set out
there.
like we were going to do that? We were going to kill
And then
it.
I
we
just
went, nope.
giggled.
We're like,
I
nope,
just
not gonna do it.
giggle. I'm a giggler. It's a problem. But wait, I forgot the question.
Oh, about the reverse harem romance. I'm like, so is this your?
But
your plot
that's
for
kind
your...
of what it is.
Yeah, no kidding.
Which is so
That's messed up.
But that's why they went to kill her.
That's messed up. I'm sure that she also would probably kill them to take life force to like make herself younger again. And I don't know if that's how witchcraft works in your world, but I know in certain worlds it does. Yeah. Anyway,
We're just gonna stick with that. Yeah, it
She
was
was using
worth
them.
cutting the head off. And also, I didn't make it a sorority because, quite frankly, society makes that real enough on a regular basis.
Oh
so
my
a
God.
female's going to take control of men because that felt a lot better to write in, and I needed something really...
good for you.
I needed something really shitty worth killing someone for.
But that doesn't already exist.
Yeah,
way
but
too
that
loudly.
wasn't, like,
Yeah.
so fucking triggering.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's play it in the opposite direction. And
Right, because there's like it's not okay, but I kind of feel like there's at least like a touch of... Oh gosh, is there a touch of humor to that? Am I heartless?
It's not a touch of humor. It's a touch less trauma.
Maybe that's what it is. But I felt okay kind of giggling at that a little bit. I was like,
Well,
what?
that's because
What?
there aren't serial killers that have gone into sorority houses and killed everybody.
Wait, you mean fraternity houses and killed everybody?
Yeah, that way.
I was like, oh, yes, there have been. But
Yeah,
I
but
know
that's
you're
the thing
talking
is
about-
like horrible things have happened like
Yeah.
that. Like a fraternity getting enchanted to be her pool boys
Oh my God.
is like it's not the same.
Yeah.
It is the same. It is the same evil with a less traumatic statement. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does make sense.
It's not that
yes.
it's any better or worse. It's
Yeah.
just that this is less societally traumatic.
Yeah, I get that. So I want to talk about something else that I mentioned when we were reading this. He bent down, getting close to my ear to speak, making the poor girl who'd let me by lean back Matrix style. And I went, huh. I was like, I got a question for you. I said, is that too early a reference? And then she said, I just can't think of another way to really, like another pop culture reference to show what that means. And if you know The Matrix, you'll understand, right? Because it's impossible,
Okay.
physically impossible to lean back like that.
So I did no, you can if you're really good at limbo. You should see some of those people limbo. It's insane.
Wait, are you serious? I mean, okay, no, because I've seen like Jamaican dance groups in New York. Well, they'll do that, but they usually necessitate somebody being on their knees.
No.
There are people who can do that shit?
Yes.
Oh my God.
No, there are people who can limbo and get like less than a foot off the ground.
Oh my cow.
It-
Oh, no, okay, no, I get it. I get the physics of it, but still, that's insane.
Yes,
Because
so-
you have to put basically your tiptoes right under your center of gravity, right? But then you still have to have that core strength. Oh my God.
I don't know. All I know is
Ooh.
that it was either Limbo or Matrix, and I couldn't pick which one. But Matrix still has a lot of memes, so I went with Matrix.
Right. Gotta love meme culture. Okay.
Well, actually, I typed both into the meme generator, on text messages when you type it in.
Uh-huh.
I typed in both, and the Matrix memes were better,
Okay.
so I went with Matrix.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see if can I do this? No. Okay. All right. I won't do this. I was going to make fun of you, but I'll actually leave it. I'm
What?
sure I'll make fun of you later. No, about the, here, I'll just show you. I'll show you this part right here.
Oh, no, do it.
Do it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this line where we're picking back up with what the MC is saying, I'm assuming at the MC is saying at the funeral. It was this line goes, most powerful creation of the human spirit. So clear, there's an M dash. We are clearly coming into this later in the conversation. And I said, what's the most powerful creation of the human spirit, Megan? What is that?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. No, what I wanted is I needed it to end. I needed it to say human spirit to have that specific distinction
Yeah.
to set her off on that human funeral versus Etherean hero funeral.
Speaking of...
Wait, I'm not
sorry.
done.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And the thing is, the reason I didn't feel bad for not having a specific, like, mathematics, family, whatever it is that information has literally no relevance to Ella.
Okay.
So if it was something
Good
where
point.
like she could have gained something from hearing it and missed out on the information.
Yeah.
It's something that she already knows, but it's literally
Gotcha,
human
yeah.
spirit. And in my head, it's something along the line of like community is the blah, 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 blah. Like it's some great quote about how he was like the pillar
Right,
of the
but it's not
community.
Yeah.
And like, because everyone's a community in Laureldale, it's a great human spirit. And now they're like all frenzies and they're missing a link, but they're going to come out stronger as they heal the wound and all that bullshit. And she's like,
Oh my gosh.
fuck y'all. This is dumb.
So that leads me directly into my next thing, which I said, what a fucking line. Because humans are such fragile fucks who break so fucking easily, they die for stupid, pointless reasons, and the only way to make their deaths matter is a bunch of barbershopped, bagpiped bullshit. I was like, oh my God. Like, what a freaking terror, like, for her to go on right there mentally. Like, jeez, you know?
Well, that's the thing, is it's really easy when she's interacting with the Etherean or with the human world.
Yeah.
It's really easy to drift into seeing her as human, but as much as she's not a standard Etherean, she's not human.
No, she's not.
She doesn't have the human weaknesses. She doesn't have the human immune system. She doesn't
Oh, I didn't think about that. So she doesn't succumb to viruses and bacteria the way that we do?
No, she doesn't get sick.
Oh, wow.
Because
sign my ass up.
Because she has that more than witchy immune system, so she heals from it.
That's crazy.
So that's the thing, is while like Caleb and Violet and Mrs. Nikolic and everyone are treating her like this wounded puppy.
Yeah.
If she's in a group of pure humans, she's actually the hardiest.
Yeah.
And potentially the strongest. And probably the
the
fastest. Well, it depends.
I see.
Jason could probably out bench press her. Just because of
How much
sheer
can Ella
size.
bench? What do you think? 300?
Not as much as Jason. Just because he's trained for it. Could she be that capable? Sure, but she hasn't put in the work.
I see. So
But
just
if it's-
naturally, she's gifted. that way.
Yeah, but like if you put her at the beginning of the Widow's Run and said, sprint, go as far as you can, like it's going to go way too fucking well for her.
Yeah, sure.
So she is balancing that line of like, she's not either.
Yeah. So I want to move on to, and don't forget, a good scrub of your hands is a prayer for your neighbor's health. And you went, what, isn't that a good pearl of wisdom from an old lady? And I was like, the fact that you're asking me that is so funny. So I said podcast, Megan, on pearls of wisdom from old ladies.
Well, no, because you know those old
I don't think it's just
people-
old ladies, but just elders, period. Yeah,
No, for me, it's usually old ladies.
that's fair.
And like, I don't, maybe it's the blue hair. Maybe they're like, you poor rogue, now middle-aged woman. Like, I don't know
God,
what it
yeah, we're
is.
there. Yeah.
But I get stopped to be given these pearls of wisdom so often. And I don't know if I just like, my personality screams, help me. I'm not there yet. But it happens so often. And I wanted it to be something topical to the bathroom and topical to church.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what do you, like, you can't
Yeah.
clean the seat for God?
I mean,
like,
look,
I don't know.
Clean the seat for God. No, I
But
think
it was one of those, like, I want.
cleanliness is close to godliness, right?
Well, and it's also
Yeah.
like, protect your neighbor, do these things.
Sure.
So I wanted it to be so, like, Jowls isn't this completely absurd,
Right. No, it's
crazy
actually very
lady.
nice. Yeah.
But I wanted it to be like, oh, thank you, ma'am. I'm just going to go have a quick pee and promise I'll wash my hands real good. I'll do the whole 20 seconds. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like,
Yeah.
why did this come in here? But also that's really sweet and you're not crazy. But like, what the... Yeah.
Speaking of the church, there are no fucks in church.
That-
Except for the people behind the curtain, possibly.
We have not gotten that far yet.
We haven't gotten that far yet, except there's whatever's happening back there is happening with more urgency. It's like, and there's a rustling, and it's something that Caleb doesn't think is a problem. I'm just putting 2 and 2 and 2 together and making 5.5. I don't know. Again, I'm saying I'm
Great
not
measuring
necessarily
skills
reaching-
for that 6 inches. But sorry, you set it up too well. No, but it was one of those things where like
This episode is unhinged.
because neither of us is really religious. Like, the concept of not using curse words in church, like, it doesn't matter to me. A space is a space.
Yeah,
I get it.
I'll do it out of respect.
But that's the thing.
That's
it's
what
like
she's doing,
out of respect in this.
Yeah,
it is not a plot. Okay, so in her head, she swears a lot.
Yeah,
but she never curses out loud in the sanctuary.
Right.
And that's because I was like, am I going to edit this? Am I going to blah, blah, blah? But Ella has been in enough churches to know that's a no-no. And for the plot, there was no plot reason that she had to do that. And that's one of those things where, like, yes, Ella says fuck a lot because that is her vocabulary. She grew up in bars. She grew up with bounty hunters. Like she grew up with adults. She knows she likes whiskey from funerals.
Right.
Like that's who she is. She has the constant stream of fuck in her head because she lives at a level of oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
Yeah.
But there was no reason to have out loud cursing in the sanctuary. And that was one of those things where it's like the gratuitous entrails. Like if the entrails aren't needed, I'm not going to put them on the page. Cursing out loud in a church wasn't needed, so I'm not going to put it on the page just because it's why make people upset about that when it has nothing to do with the plot. If it was a plot point, but it's not, so meh.
I also, I don't know why this feels important to share that has nothing to do with this book, but it has a little something to do with what we're talking about. My feeling on that, because you were talking about how like a space is a space, right? It was what you said about like churches. That is how I feel too, but it's mostly because of that. There's a beautiful oh my gosh, a beautiful thing that apparently that Jesus said that was split a piece of wood and you will find me, lift a stone and I am there. And it's like, that's gorgeous. Like that is gorgeous. I'm not like Christian, but that I love stuff like that. I love that Jesus said stuff like that. I think it's incredibly beautiful. Anyway, that's all. I just think it's a beautiful thing. So I
just kind of feel like wood burns. So if it's like the church is not a house, the church is not a steeple, the church is not a resting place, the church is people. They made me sing that in preschool all the time.
Sure.
So like I was raised from a young age that the building doesn't.
The church is the congregation.
Yeah, the church, the actual building doesn't mean anything.
That makes sense.
So that's how I was in preschool, like Bible study with the little hand dances. Was that like, I don't know. That's just how I was raised. That the building is a building.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. To go in a completely different direction.
Typos that turn it into a horror story. I don't know what typos I like better. The ones that accidentally make it erotica or that actually
I don't think this
horror.
is a typo. I really don't. It made sense to me, but it was when you said, oh, no. Because we talk about the organ having this smell because of like whatever cleaner they're using or whatever it is to upkeep it. And I feel like I should know this. I've never played organ, but like I should know about them.
The only reason I was like, wait, organs have a really specific smell is because of that massive organ at Longwood Gardens.
Oh my God, that beautiful. Y'all, if you were ever in PA and you find yourself near Kennett Square, go to Longwood Gardens, go check out the organ, especially at Christmas time. It is awesome.
But there is a very distinctive scent to that area. And so I did some research to figure out like, and
so they're like, they use oils and stuff?
Yeah, it's like what that tang is.
I wonder, is it for the petals? Because those probably need oil because those are wood.
I didn't look up what part they go on, only that it's used in maintenance and that it is a common scent. Yeah. But it's because that paper and leather makes the musky scent and then the oil makes the tang. So
what the line is now, I'll start there. The scent of the organ wouldn't let me trick my mind into a safer place. What the line was, the scent of organ wouldn't let me trick my mind into a safer place.
Wait, can you make the... Yeah, it was totally, I don't know, Ella became a cannibal.
Shoot,
Plot twist.
Oh, it's funny. I thought you were talking about sex organs, to be honest. That's what I thought you meant.
I thought we were talking about like the
scent of penis. It's
the scent of his arousing organ. No, I meant like the scent of baking long intestine. Gross. Wow, we went two very different ways.
We went very different directions.
All right. Good to
so
know.
That's actually all I have. So we're ending on organ smell. That feels right for this episode.
I really it was like viscera in my head.
Viscera. Okay.
Viscera. It's such a good word. Okay.
It is a good word.
Okay, so before we wrap up, is there anything you want to say?
No, I don't think so.
Other
So
than
please go ahead.
viscera.
I'm just checking to make sure that the camera is still going because that likes to not happen. No, it's
Okay,
good.
so I have a couple housekeeping notes.
Sure, thank you.
Real quick.
Housekeeping.
First of all, if you are a podcast listener and you haven't checked out the Substack, there are weekly podcasts going up on world building for the Laurel Dale
Weekly
world.
blog posts.
Weekly
you said
blog
podcasts.
Oh, sorry.
I know.
Paige
aphasia.
is a bitch.
I know it is.
There are weekly blog posts going up on the Substack world building for Laurel Dale. So we just had one. We recently had one
wilds,
about the
Forever Wilds.
The how crossing positions work, like the bar, and how that's important to communication between Ethereans.
Yes.
And then there was one on the Forever Wild, which is actually a real constitutional amendment in upstate New York, which created this amazing space for wildlife that can actually. You could very legitimately have a lot of werewolf packs in there and you'd never fucking know. So there's a lot of cool little world details in there. They're 1 to 2 minute reads, super easy to get through. So if you want to know more about the world of Laurel Dale, check out those blog posts.
Highly recommend. They're awesome. They're fun.
And they're quick, easy. It just gives you a little bit more world info. And it's been really fun for me to sort of solidify all of my notes because everything usually is in bullet points. And this is me actually putting it in paragraph
You're building
form.
your own Silmarillion just in block form.
Okay, that is my awkward noise.
Yes, that was your awkward noise.
Also, the amazing Miss Meanie page by page podcast shirts. If you did not hear last time, I was supposed to make podcast logos for stickers, but I didn't want it to be just the title square. So then I wanted my cat, and then I was like, well, my cat's so cute. So now it's really just our beautiful Miss Meanie with listening to the podcast, but it's mostly the cat, a little bit of podcast
on a nondescript phone. We don't
on
know
a
what
nondescript phone because copyright. So check that out on the website. It is up there. Also, I am going to be doing a presentation at the International Association for the Fantastic in the Arts. It is going to be in March in Orlando. I'm still waiting on times and details and stuff, but yeah, we're going to be doing another world building session. So I'm really excited
that it's on
for that.
Thursday because if it's on Friday or Saturday, I have to miss it, and I don't want to do that.
I want you to be there,
but it's at least for a good reason, which I still can't talk about, and it's driving me crazy.
I know. Okay, but anyway, so I will be there. If you're in the Orlando area, check out the International Association for the Fantastic in the Arts Conference. Also, last but not least, I had an idea, and I'm not sure how I'm going to make this idea work.
Brittany, get ready. Go ahead.
No. I've already.
Not that one?
Yes, she's already.
Oh, that's the one. I know she knows.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
still,
So because
we're announcing
I've been
it
having so much
in a different form.
Fun on Substack doing the world building blog posts and being able to talk to readers and sort of lay things out in a different fashion to sort of like display the Easter eggs where I can be like, here's why this thing is really cool. So because I am starting work on because I'm working on the last book in the Guilds of Ilbrea series, I'm going back to the very beginning book of Ilbrea, which that will be 9 books to review before I write the 10th book. Yeah, and so I'm going back and I am pouring through them all because I want to make sure that I make this finale the best it can possibly be, and I want to make sure that everything is in my brain as fresh as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be starting an Ilbrea Substack too, where there will be spoiler-filled notes from my reread of Ilbrea. So it's really only going to be useful to people who already know the world of Ilbrea.
Don't go.
But if you want to jump into reading Ilbrea now, I am going to be starting with Ember and Stone, the first book in the Anna of Ilbrea series. And if you want to start pouring through them, I am going to be a little bit behind you because I have another project I have to finish first. So yeah, if you want to do that and then you want to hop on the read through with me and go through all the fun things and the Easter eggs, because there are some Easter eggs planted in book 1 of Anna of Ilbrea that come out in like book 4 of Guilds of Ilbrea. So it's going to be really fun to be able to lay out those connections in a way I've never gotten to before. And I don't know if I'm ever going to do this kind of a reread again.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's so impractical.
Why would you? I mean, the thing is that between like Anna and Guilds, there are such tight connections that you kind of have to do that. But after this, like, I feel like you'll be going back to guilds to check things to make sure you're not planting false information in, like, say, Isla's series. Because Isla, those of you who know guilds, Isla is getting her own series.
Continuity is so important to me.
Yes, continuity is incredibly important. Yeah.
Because the only, the one from Harry Potter, the Harry Potter quote, the only Gryffindor who's ever gone wrong.
Oh, it's in the movies. I don't know that it's in the books, but yeah, it's there's not a witch or wizard who went bad who wasn't in Slytherin.
Except for that Sirius Black.
Spoiler for those of you who haven't made it to book 3 yet. And it doesn't really matter, but Sirius Black, that is who it is said did some very, very bad things, and Sirius Black was a Gryffindor, and people know of him.
I can't watch that scene without openly screaming at the television because it's such a clear plot hole.
Because according to what people say he did, people know him. Yeah. It's not like he's an unknown quantity.
Yeah, no, it's a huge
you can't say there's not a witch or wizard who went bad who wasn't in Slytherin.
That's a good example that I don't feel bad tossing under the bus because fuck that. So I feel fine tossing that example of why continuity is huge to me.
It's the fact that Mad Eye Moody can actually see through the invisibility cloak drives me crazy.
It's fine, but I don't feel bad for mentioning it because fuck it. I just flipped off the camera. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to be doing with the Ilbrea reread. So if you want to come along on this journey with me, then keep an eye out. I will not be starting the Substack yet, as I still need to prep the Kickstarter page, which will be adding some more images to soon. But yes, so keep an eye out for more Ilbrea fun because it's going to be great.
You should mention how you were going to go about devouring Enna's series.
Oh, okay. So
you're going to be a crying mess, by the way.
I've become an audiobook addict because with the brain injury, sitting still at the end of the day gets really hard for me. If I've been typing all day, then my legs don't want to sit still. My brain doesn't want to sit still. I can't do it. I can consume a book better in audio at night. And so I'm going to be going back through the Anna Ilbrea series with the audiobooks, and the actress, the narrator on that series is amazing.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
She's devastating. She made me cry at my own work, and I am a heartless asshole. She's fantastic. So yeah, I'm going to be doing
of all the audiobooks I've listened to, and I've listened to plenty, the only narrators I can think of that match up to her are Jacob McNatt, who does your Bryant series. Now, I'm not even kidding. That's not me pushing your book. He's just very funny. Now, granted, that's going to be different for different people. Different people like different narrators. But Stephen Weber, who narrates It by Stephen King, phenomenal. My God, so good. So him, Alexandra, and Jacob, my favorites.
But I'm going to be doing that one in an audio. But if that sounds like fun to you, then hop into Ilbrea, and then you can come along for the ride with me.
Yeah.
Because
I'm stoked. I can't wait.
There are little nuggets that I planted years ago that I'm like, I don't know if anyone ever caught on to that. And now I feel like it's time to just drop it all out there and put out the connections.
The sad thing is, and I'm going to say it. The sad thing is that there are things that I know that I don't know will ever actually see the light of day. There are things that I know about certain books that I think you're going to have to read between the lines. It's
not out in the world yet because it has to do with a series that doesn't exist yet.
Wait, what? Oh, you're actually going to do that series?
No, it's not that series.
Now I'm so confused and excited and titillated. Oh my God.
So all right. Okay, let's be done.
All right.
We have vagued long enough. We're just vaguing at a microphone
We're vague stacking, I guess. I don't know. Because we publish through Substack now.
That's true.
The podcast as well.
Substack. Okay,
Substack's the best.
That's 12 tonight.
No, you already said 16 earlier, didn't you?
Damn it. Okay.
All right.
Moving on.
You can find us on any podcast platform. You can find us on YouTube. And yes, even just the audio. I think that technically there's only one video up right now. Bad, Christopher. There will be more eventually. I don't know when. I have no idea. I'm surviving. I'm doing my best.
If that ever happens, then they're going to see me giving you this face.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But please leave us a like, subscribe, share, anything that you can do. Give us a rating in the whatever podcast platform that you're listening on. It helps us reach more people. And as always, thank you for reading.